So hello, Maura. It's lovely to meet you.
It's lovely to meet you too, Lamia. Yes, yes.
Please introduce yourself, if you would, to our followers and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you end up being where you are, and also how you've come to use HouseSit Match over the last few years.
I will, yes, yes. Well, I am, as you may be able to detect, I am from New York City originally. I live now in a village called Croston, which is just south of Preston in the northwest of England. And my husband Richard and I retired from teaching at a university in Ohio in the States about 3 years ago. Richard is British, and that's how I come to be here. I met Richard when I was on a junior year abroad, when I was in college, and lived in Britain from that time, from the mid-70s, lived in Britain up near Lancaster. But back in 2003, we went over to Columbus, Ohio, and taught at Ohio State University there. When we retired, we came back here, and it was then that I became a member of HouseSit Match. And yeah, to enable us to travel back to the States, to enable us to have trips and have our little cat who we had brought over from Columbus, Ohio, to make sure that she was looked after and that we were confident that everything was going to be okay. Yes, yes.
So Mary was a well-traveled cat by the sounds of it. She's been stateside and now over the pond.
Yes, yes, that's right. Yes, we brought her over. She, at that time, she would have been about 13 years old. And obviously, no question of going anywhere without her. And in fact, before we bought our house, I looked into what the current importation of animal rules were, because as you will know, I'm sure, at one time, all animals brought in had to go into quarantine for 6 months. And we wouldn't have been, in the same way as we wanted a house sitter so she could stay at home when we traveled, we wouldn't have been happy with that. So that would have been something we would have had to confront. Yeah, so we brought her over, and it was an interesting process, and the look on her little face when she stepped out of her cat carrier for the first time. I would love to have known what was going on in that little mind, that
she must have been thrilled to see you after that long journey and being sort of checked over and so on.
Yeah, she adapted very, very quickly, and I like to think that's because, as far as she was concerned, wherever Richard and I were, she was okay. The other thing that I think reconciled her very quickly to the change of surroundings was our daughters and our granddaughter, because she absolutely loved them, and our son-in-law, as well. They were her favorite people. So once she realized that this was more frequent visits from them, she was used to them visiting us over in Columbus, of course. But I think she was one very, very happy little kitty. Yes, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. So care for your cat, Mary, was obviously really important to you.
Very,
yeah. And so you joined HouseSit Match to look for house sitters.
I did. Yes, yes.
Is there anything specific you would look for in a house sitter when you were sort of trying to assess who was applying?
Yeah, it's an interesting process, as I'm sure you know from talking to other people who are seeking house sitters. I'm sure you must get different variations on the answer, but obviously I'm looking for someone who seems to sincerely love animals. You'd like to get that vibe from whatever response you get from people. The other thing that I think I've looked for in the house sitters is so many of them are taking part in a kind of adventure, signing up to the website. They have a plan about their travels. It doesn't need to be like a world tour or something. What it sometimes is, I had one lady who was very excited to be coming to this area because she'd been involved in genealogical research, and one of her grandmothers had come from this area, and she was hoping to do some more research while she was here, and it felt so exciting to be part of that, you know. And we have had other house sitters who have been doing rather grander ideas. One lady we've just had who'd taken a year out and had basically traveled around Europe, going from house sit to house sit. And that was really exciting to be part of that. So that was nice, you know, that sort of thing. But then again, it could be just somebody who's thinking this is a great way to have a break and sample different parts of the country, you know. So I'm on board with that, but it's nice to be part of people's story, you might say.
It's lovely to hear that you enjoy being part of their adventure. I think that's the first time I've heard that. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, great, yes.
And is there something that you found in HouseSit Match, our network, that you think appeals to you, that you think was a plus point, that made a difference, helped you along the journey?
I think from the very first that I signed up with your network, I think the very first thing that impressed me was your awareness and sensitivity to security, if that's the right word to use, that you were aware that this was a process that might be stressful, you know, that finding people to come stay in your home and look after your pet, you want to be sure they're the right people. And I think that was the very first thing that when I came across your website and read all the details, and I could see at that time, and that was about 3 years ago now. And I know, because I again have been part of the journey, you might say, I know that you've improved that over the 3 years. You've introduced all sorts of things that each time you've done that, I thought, well, this is great. What a wonderful idea. It gives me more confidence that I am speaking to the person who they claim to be, if you see what I mean, you know. And those sort of processes, each time it brought down the stress levels of trying to find a good house sitter that you can have confidence in. I don't know if.
Well, thank you. It's lovely to hear that the innovations we've tried to introduce, the ID checking, the online police checking, all of that, no matter where the house sitter is in the world, we can make sure that happens through the site. So thank you. It's great to have that acknowledgement.
Yes,
and
well,
your collaboration.
No,
and to have your collaboration has been really great. In fact, what I find with most of our members, whether they are homeowners, pet owners like yourself, or house sitters, is they have to have a mindset that's willing to kind of take part and come on our journey with us. So it's been great to have you on board for that reason.
Well, I've been very, very glad to do it. Yes.
And you sound like a very collaborative sort of person. So I think that's a great head start, I think, whoever wants to take part. And one of the things about this house sitting arrangement, of course, is that it is an exchange of services. It is a benefit for both. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
And we're always trying to explain that to people, to say, well, the house sitter doesn't take any money, but in exchange, you don't ask them for any money for the room and board. So that's actually, that is the exchange. It's a collaboration. Do you find that's a useful thing? Has it been helpful for you?
Oh, absolutely. You know, that I've felt that it is that sense of confidence in the people that you're asking, and knowing what they're there for, that at the time that they are in your house, that this is helping them out. And so therefore they are more likely to give you their full attention, shall I say, you know, that they are anxious to repay that gift, I guess you could call it. And, you know, that you've enabled them to stay in a place where they'd like to stay, or have a break that they would like to break, or what have you. And so I've genuinely felt that yes, that it has resulted in very, very good and warm relationships, you know, and always have felt that, you know, kind of come away making a friend. Yes. Yeah.
You know, I house sit as well, and I have house sitters in my own home, and I find it's quite an intimate relationship you have with people who share your space. And
Oh,
that
yes.
lends itself, don't you find that? And it lends
Oh,
itself to making good friends.
yes, yes, yes. And as I alluded to before, it is being part of their adventure. I always look forward to always try and arrange that the sitter, if they can, it's entirely up to them, of course, arrive a day or two before we leave, so we have a little time with them. And it's always great sitting there and hearing what are their plans, what have they done so far, what's the game plan, and where would they like to go in our area, and we always try and have lots of information about things to do locally, and suggest things. And a couple of our house sitters have gotten involved in village life, that if we, I'll introduce them to our neighbors and clue them in on things that are going on. And we have several very nice pubs in the village, and those are obviously, as you know, center of village, kind of community. And they've enjoyed that very much. So
it's always good to find out where the local watering holes are. That's always a great place to get inside knowledge, isn't it?
Oh yes, oh yes. Yes.
And to any homeowners or pet owners who haven't yet tried house sitting, or they've signed up but haven't sort of taken the plunge, would you have any suggestions or top tips?
Well, one of the things that I found, I think, that really helped get a number of good offers for house sitting is the format that you offer. Take full advantage of the format you offer for posting details of your trip. This is not just a matter of, well, this is where we are, these are the dates, can you house sit? Your website format offers lots of opportunities for posting pictures, lots to say about the house and your pet and the area. And I would say take full advantage of that, because I think that has resulted, again, going back to the stress levels, there's always this sense, okay, we're going away next summer, you're taking a leap in the dark, I'm going to post this, is anybody gonna respond, And it's always so gratifying when sometimes literally within a few hours, you start getting those responses from those who are interested in sitting, who are obviously sitting there checking in from time to time, going, has anything interesting been posted? And so I would say, that you've made it easy to post successful ads for your house sit, and to take full advantage of that. And then it's just, you have to, you communicate with those who are interested in doing the sits, and exchange emails and so forth, and find out. I mean, I always felt it was a matter of, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say professionalism, to stick by the order in which people responded, that when you had the first response, unless there was something that genuinely meant that it was not possible. So I always tried to do that, rather than, because I figured if somebody was that interested, to give them a chance first, so to speak. But on the other hand, you are in the driver's seat, you will choose, so you've got to make good use of that. The only way to do that is by communication, I would say.
Great. Well, there's some lovely tips there. Thank you so much, Maura. It's been really, really interesting talking to you. And well, we wish you well, and please keep in touch.
Thank you so much. I will do that. Thank you, Lamia. Lovely to talk to you. Take care now.
Thanks, Maura. Bye-bye.